GPA does matter, really. It does matter. The world is really open for you. You might not need to apply the equations of fluid mechanics. And civil engineering help you earn a lot more money.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Mohammad Fawad and welcome to Chadar's Ask the Graduate series. Chadar's Ask the Graduate series is an interview series aiming to help provide guidance to undergraduate students trying to navigate through their university and career life. We'll be asking questions directly to experienced professionals and sharing their advice through Chadar's official YouTube channel. Now, today we have our guest, Mr. Ali Ahmed, who is currently Assistant Operations Manager at The Hive. So, Mr. Ali Ahmed, kindly introduce yourself to the audience and tell us about what you do and how is your experience going.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Ali Ahmed. I graduated from NUST back in 2017 with a degree in civil engineering from NICE. Thereafter, basically, I belong to Gilgit, Baltistan. So after graduation, I joined Pakistan Environmental Planning and Architectural Consultants. They had a project in Pakistan Secretariat, grand masjid of of the capacity of 8,000 people was being constructed. So I was there as their trainee engineer. I worked there uh, for almost a year, equal to a year, September 17 to September 18. Thereafter, I took a break. I uh, I was applying for CSS exams. So, and then after the break, I joined a contractor, Grand Solutions, which was working, constructing a high-rise building in Islamabad known as the Hive Tower, which is a green building, and it has almost been finished. And by 15th of this month, uh, it's going to be started. Like the services of that building will start. So the client of that building was the Hive, and the whole engineering work was complete when I was there. When I stopped working there, I should say. So by the end of January, I switched my job from Grand Solutions to the client of that tower, the Hive Tower, and now I am here at the Hive as their assistant operations manager. The title sounds a non-engineering title, but technically I'm here as their technical advisor. This company is some sort of a real estate office provider company. What they do is they provide shared workplace, private offices to different companies who don't have their own offices. So when they are expanding for new centers, new areas, I assist them as their engineering consultant. So as for now, this is my introduction.
The first question that we have is that does GPA matter? If yes, then what is considered to be a good enough GPA to get a good job?
Uh, if you ask me, I didn't have a very good GPA, but my younger brother is also doing civil engineering degree from UET. I always advise him honestly, not just to make him indulge in studies. That GPA does matter, really. It does matter. Uh, Even in your university life. For example, you are a freshman in the university, and after a whole year, you have above 3 GPA, then you can easily apply for summer programs abroad. You will be shortlisted on the basis of your GPA mostly. No matter how many co-curricular activity certificates you provide them, they are only going to uh, consider your GPA at their topmost priority. Even if you are going for exchange programs, you are going to apply for U grade in the United States, they are going to see your GPA first. Even if you ask your seniors or your friends who have been through this process, just see they will let you know that most of their colleagues who went there, they had 3.5, 3.6 higher GPAs. So for this, if we look into this perspective, GPA does matter. On the other hand, when it comes to employability, it is not about GPA, but GPA does your behavior, your skills, everything is uh, reflected by your GPA. But by this, I'm not saying that they are going to judge you by the number of GPA that you have, but rather practically, the vibes you will be showing will come from GPA. In order to compensate that, if you have a low GPA, then you must have very good communication skills. You must have some technical good skills as well. If you are a civil engineer, we are asking for civil engineers, right? You're asking, okay. So uh, but if you have a good GPA, that naturally it will be a lot much easier for you, uh, especially for the companies like Nespark and other multinational companies. They have a criteria. They do actually mention in their recruitment posts that minimum GPA should be 3. So I should say that actually this the next line which I'm going to say was said to me by a senior of myself when I was in NUST, and he said that above 3, the number 3 GPA, it doesn't matter, but below 3, it does matter. So if you don't have 3 GPA, try to get a 3-figure GPA. 3.5 is going to be good. I'm not saying study, always study. I had some friends who had 3.6 and 3.7 GPAs, and they enjoyed much more than me and other students, even going into the societies, in the sports field, and everything they did. That they still maintained their studies and they scored a very good GPA. So I should say that the most important, and I'm not being I'm not like, if some of the students don't have a very good GPA and they don't have the potential or time or hope that they are going to get above 3 GPA, then it's still okay. But if you can do it, then this should be your top priority, that you have a 3 GPA or more, because uh, studying abroad and for higher studies and for employability, everything is going to be
Depending.
dependent on this GPA.
Right, right, right.
Yes,
Okay. So
this is
next
my
up we
honest advice,
uh,
that you must have a good GPA if you can. If you now, but when it comes to the low GPA part, I should cover that as well. If you don't have a low GPA, then if you have a low GPA, then you you don't have to be hopeless. You can still apply for jobs. You can still struggle, and like you, there is not just only one job in the market. There are many other opportunities in the field of civil engineering. You can get started from a lower company, and with the experience that you have, you can literally cover your GPA. But right now, nobody asks my GPA because it has been almost 3 or 4 years after my graduation. But in the beginning, if you want to get into a good environment, then it does matter.
now that we've covered the academic side of the question, the next question that I have is that what particular qualities should a graduate of civil engineering have to get a good job?
Well, in Pakistan, uh, I should say that the what qualities? Okay, uh, I had done a case study about this as well when I was in university. And the result of this case study in Pakistan, most of the civil engineering employers told me that what they are looking for is communication skills, problem solving skills. Now, problem solving skills doesn't mean that you are going to be hired for solving each and every problem. No, rather it means that you have the potential of solving problems. You have the attitude of solving problems. You don't create problems, rather you try to solve them. You identify them. It's just like in a group of friends, there are some friends who are always problem solvers, and there are some who just create problems. So if you have that attitude, then they are looking that for from you. And the other thing is technical skills. Once again, the technical skills is not that you have to be an expert in Revit or AutoCAD or all the engineering softwares. But if you have the penchant, if you have the passion, or if you know the basics and you have the software skills, then it's Primavera, for example, then you always will have an advantage. If you are going in the construction side rather than the design side, there are two categories. If you're going directly into the design, I would not recommend. Rather, you should first go to masters and then come for the design. But as a bachelor's, with bachelor's degree, you are most likely going to the execution side of the construction. So there, these two softwares are a must: Primavera and Excel. But if you are like aiming for going into bigger companies, then I would say that building information modeling is the future in civil engineering. So try to learn Revit, Primavera, Primavera and Excel. These two softwares output is merged into bigger softwares like Navisworks, where this technology of building information modeling is monitored or accessed.
Okay, so moving on to the next question, a general concern that a lot of students have is that are there more job opportunities within Pakistan or abroad? And do you feel that the field is saturated and will there be enough job opportunities in the future?
Well, I, I in my experience, what I believe and what I think is that if you have entered the practical life and continuously learned each and everything in your capacity. For example, you have started working in a project which is being constructed, like I did from the ground when it was being excavated. So I used to take pictures, videos, and document them and put them in the cloud, so that I can have revision whenever I need it in the future. So if you have okay, I forgot to mention the lifelong learning experience skill. This is most important, and the teamwork skill. These two skills are actually interconnected. So what the employers are looking for you is they basically are looking for a graduate, a person who is who has the skills of teamwork, uh, working in teamwork, and lifelong learning attitude. So these things do matter. Okay, so opportunities. When it comes to the opportunities, what I believe is that there is always an opportunity in civil engineering field. In Pakistan, due to CPAC, probably in the near future when you will graduate, the opportunities will exponentially rise because of the economic zones being constructed, road networks being constructed, railways being constructed. So opportunities in Pakistan, I would say that you should start from Pakistan. Here you can learn the same things that you're going to learn abroad. What you should be doing here is that you should digitally document your experience, your day-to-day experience in the field, uh, by the use of tools like Primavera and Revit. You schedule your uh, weekly or monthly works in Primavera. You start modeling the construction site in Revit, and in Revit there is a lot of things to do. Like you can even quantity survey and estimate and merge there is a lot to do in Revit, and it's an easy software. So the crux is that you start from Pakistan in a construction site with a good contractor, a registered contractor, and then after 1 or 2 years of constant experience, then you can go to abroad where the opportunity of getting a bigger salary is much higher than Pakistan. Other than that, just getting a job, rather Pakistan has much more opportunities to get a job. Does that answer my question? Does
That
am I answering
actually,
your questions, or I am just going on?
your answers are perfectly answering our questions. You're explaining everything very well, and it's amazing to hear this from you. So, the next question that I have is that what is the general work environment like for a fresh graduate? And what are some of the challenges that you faced when you first entered your practical life?
Okay, let me clear one thing. There is no rocket science in civil engineering. Literally, if you are not going into the design side, even if you go into the design side, the softwares have made things much more easier. And this revolution of building information modeling has has made everything so simple actually. So in the beginning, yeah, I didn't know these things, and I used to be very inquisitive to even the diploma holders that I and they would ask questions like, "What is the power of concrete? How do you define this?" And I would start writing them, documenting them, and now they look like the first semester engineering mechanics for me. Like you have just passed through, those those courses. But uh, what I would say that just don't be afraid of the environment. Join a contractor. You will have the opportunity if you can afford to start a job with low salary, like 20,000 rupees per month. Then most likely you will be hired, because in that salary, even a mobile shop owner can hire you. It's nothing. But consider that your pocket money, and make sure that contractor is constructing something good like a building, or 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 a housing society, something bigger, which is in uh, let's say in करोड़ों में कुछ बन रहा है, तो वहां पे आप ज्वाइन करें, and then you start working with them. uh, so once you have the experience of 1 or 2 years with him or with the next employer of the same category, then all you have to do is just apply and tell them, I know this software, that software, and I have this experience, and you will be invited for an interview. It's just this simple. But you have to start working right from the beginning. Don't waste your time. Just start working, complete your 1 year tenure of training, consider it your training, and then you're good to go. And believe it or not, civil engineers can earn a lot more than other engineers. It's just a matter of time, uh, because you know what, the cash flow, the money flow in the industry, especially in Pakistan, is in the real estate, and inside the real estate, it's from the client to contractor. The client invests, the designers, the consultants, they just take their fees. For example, I actually planned a project worth 11 billion rupees, and with that plan I learned, I had scheduled the costs and everything, that in which month what kind of expenses, and the money trail I was doing that. So I came to know that out of the 10 billion amount that client was in going to invest, almost 2.5 billion, 25% was the profit of a contractor. He was investing nothing. He was just mobile, even the machinery he could buy with that money. 30 करोड़ रुपए की मशीनरी खरीद सकता था, बाकी 30 करोड़ करो तो 2 अरब 20 करोड़ रुपए फिर भी बचते थे. तो so so the opportunities are a lot more. एंड आप फील्ड से स्टार्ट करें. और इसी वजह से फिर सिविल इंजीनियर्स जो एक्सपर्ट होते हैं, जिनको प्राइमा वगैरह आता है, जो प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, और जो कि बिल्डिंग इंफॉर्मेशन मॉडलिंग में आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, तो एंड बिग कंपनीज लाइक इजहार ग्रुप एंड ट्रिपल ए, these Dolmen groups, all of them are shifting towards building information modeling. इजहार ग्रुप के सीईओ ने ये बोला है कि डोलमन के जो 5 टावर में लाहौर में बना रहा हूँ, we are delivering in 1 year only because of this technology, building information modeling. So they have built a team for building information modeling. So Nastians are known for their software skills. So let's use them. And uh, and and even if somebody who is going to start a business like construction company, he can use these softwares, and he can exponentially, at an exponential speed, he can grow his business if he incorporates this, because time
Right.
is everything. You save your time by using these tools.
So, all of these things that you're saying and all of this is making us feel like that the world is open.
It is. This is what actually I'm doing. And by the way, we have a senior. We have a senior. I would like to mention his name, or I shouldn't, but okay. So Waji Naqvi, Sayyid Waji Naqvi. He is working for FWO. I was, uh, and he has been working on building information modeling. So if I'm here to share my thoughts, I think you should contact him as well. Yeah, he must be contacted. Sayyid Waji Naqvi. Note down his name. So he has actually convinced FWO to procure the AEC collection of um, of the Autodesk company. So AEC is basically a, a list of softwares like 10 or 15, I don't remember the exact figure. They have to be integrated into one whole and cloud-based system monitoring of civil engineering, And he currently is probably working in one project for their prototype experiment with these tools. So in Pakistan, this building information modeling is pretty new concept. It's not that much new, like, but there is no such competition. So I would take this opportunity to motivate Nastians to learn Revit and Primavera, and when they graduate, they start working with a contractor and start document things in these softwares. And eventually, after 2 or 3 years, they are going to be very professional and expert engineers, and they will have like our professor, may Allah bless him with Jannah, he has left this world. When I was in first semester, we had a professor of communication skills, Major Muhammad Akram. He used to say that you are Imagineers and you are an international commodity engineers. You can go anywhere and you are going to be welcome. So be an engineer. Being an engineer doesn't mean you have just a degree or you have a script. No, it rather means that you have the up-to-date skill set. In Europe, there are many universities. They offer masters in building information modeling only, these tools. So in the world of internet, when the fastest education and most efficient education system has become the internet, so why not learn? Why not take the advantage of it when you have free time? Uh, I think the world is really open for you. Let's
Yes.
get started.
Okay. Now, the next question that I have is, we learn so many things. We have these long pages of formulas and derivation and all of these things. My question is, do we actually apply these things in our practical life? How much of the things that we learn here are actually used in the practical life?
Okay, what I believe is that these courses are really going to help you. They are not going to be directly applied everywhere because you are not going to construct a whole country. You are going to construct, for example, a building or a house. There you might not you might not need to apply the equations of fluid mechanics. Like when you are a civil engineer working in a building, then the fluid mechanics equations are being dealt by the MEP contractor, the plumbing contractor. They are going to fix the network of pipes, the HVAC, and the firefighting network infrastructure. So but still, I would say that they are not in vain. You can, like, it's not about just going and doing something labor work. Rather, you are going to understand the civil engineers, the contractor, the civil contractor is going to be always the main contractor in any project. So for example, if you are the project manager, or if you there is always potential to be at a higher post even if you are a fresh graduate. Since I told you before earlier that it's not much rocket science, all you need is some experience. So if you are a planning engineer, then you are going to have interactions. Like I said, I was in that building, I was working as planning engineer. So I had interactions, I had to deal with different contractors, their project managers, and I had to understand uh, what the hell they were doing. So they would tell me and I would immediately understand, because of the courses that we attended in the university. If I did not attend or take interest in these equations or in these experiments that we had been doing in laboratory, then I would literally had would have no clue what they were saying. That okay, this shaft, this smoke duct, and blah blah blah. They would just be alien to me. But although I was not expert in their work, I could still easily have correspondence with them and document their work, and subsequently update, monitor the schedule, and deliver the oral work to the client on time. So what I think is that uh, try to learn as much as you can. These things are very interesting. They are interrelated, even if like they do actually uh, become helpful when it comes to meetings and when it comes to decision making, because you need to have some whole picture. You have to have some understanding about everything, basic understanding. If you don't have these things, then you are just like a supervisor who is concentrated on his own duty, and he cannot make decisions. That's the whole difference between I would say an unexperienced diploma holder and and a civil
And
engineer proper, yeah, who is a registered engineer. What happens is that we know almost the basics of everything related to the project, so we can help, advise, and even make decisions, while the diploma holders take some years, get the experience of all those things they were missing, and then eventually they also become competent, no doubt. Because as I said before, the world is of now the internet world. So even if you are illiterate, you can still become anything you want.
exactly. Next on, we have a special question from one of our students, Rafia, and she said that since this is a vast field, with there being choices like transportation engineering, structural engineering, geotechnical, and water, what kind of job opportunities are available to us, and how do we select where to go after we finish our degree, and especially what about the females that are studying with us? What job opportunities do we have for them?
Mostly my batchmates were females. They did not go to the execution side of the civil engineering. Mostly boys went there. Mostly the females, some of them went for higher education, some of them went to design offices. Uh, for females, it's really tough in execution, where the whole money is there, right? The experience and the industry is growing. But still, like we have been talking about building information modeling, uh, the females can have this advantage because the world is going towards that. So our female Nustians can learn these softwares, uh, and if they have joined good contractors like the FWO, there is potential they can join that company as trainee engineers. So their environment is much better, uh, and they can still uh, work in execution if they are comfortable. So once they have the ground experience and the building information software skills, they can. I would suggest them that they should go for uh, planning and monitoring side, interior design side. But I would not say that this is a restriction. If they are bold enough, then they can go and explore each and every opportunity. And since it's not rocket science, and it's not like you have to you have to carry some load. Rather, you just have to visit, inspect, and understand, and try to solve problems, communicate, cross. So these things can be easily be done by any male or a female. Uh,
Thank you so much for answering the question. That was very well explained. Okay. Um, One of the last few questions is that there's a lot of fear when thinking about life after graduation. Given current circumstances and the general anxiety of planning for the future, what advices do you have for students currently going through this? And do you have any other advices for undergraduates? Anything that you wish you did during your degree that you would recommend for the students currently studying that they should also do this?
So when I entered NUST, at that time I really didn't have much interest in civil engineering. I rather had good interest in stars, cosmology, galaxies, and this kind of stuff. I would just observe the stars, and I wanted to have an observatory and write things that I observed in the cosmos at night sky. So I was a kid back then, so I used to have these kind of thoughts. But once I had to decide that what I have to do right after, my intermediate, what I did was I decided, okay, let's go for civil engineering because it's not going to be tough. Let's not go for mechanical and electrical and chemical and these kind of engineerings. But slowly, when as I started studying in NUST, I started to my interest in civil engineering, went up and up and up, and I loved that field. I loved geography. I loved environmental science and the experiments, the flow of water, the construction, the design, each and everything. It was something new. So before the university, literally, like nobody knows what's inside the engineering. So when I was introduced in a very effective way in the university, although back then it used to sound like, oh my God, where am I? These seminars. A friend of mine had actually written a song about it. बस भाई बस ज्यादा बात नहीं कर्नल साहब आज के बाद सेमिनार नहीं कर्नल साहब uh, okay, so what I would say is that do what you love. If you don't like civil engineering, you can still leave this field. You can, like, there are some people who have started restaurants. A friend of mine, a batch mate of mine, he worked for National Logistics Cell for almost 2 years, and then he left civil engineering and started a fast food shop along with his other friend, and he's also my friend. So they're selling burgers and stuff in Gujranwala, and I think their brand is Saucy, something like that. You can search it on Instagram; it will show up. So what I would suggest is that, uh, okay, my comment is this: that if you want money, then there are many ways to earn money, and civil engineering is one of them. Uh, to help you earn a lot more money, especially if you have the potential to construct buildings and things and become a contractor. And using that money, you can pursue your happiness, your field, your field of interest. If you want to build an observatory, you can use that money and build an observatory at your rooftop and start observing the stars at night. But if you don't want money, if you just want to chill, then you can start vlogging. It's still okay, and you can earn from YouTube, and you can just travel around the world like Nas Daily. So the advice is that don't be worried about anything. Just do what you love. It's the age of the internet. You should market yourself. The number one thing is you must market yourself. If you know how to make a coffee, if people like the way you make coffee, if you want to sell that, start selling it, start marketing it, and you will get customers. This is what actually people are doing. They are searching for clients, customers, and giving them respect and eventually selling their products. So what you need to do is try to identify what you love to do and uh, start working on how to start working on creating a strategy of marketing that skill so that you can earn some livelihood as well, and you can survive this world. Because without that you cannot survive. It's not just about interests and fun. It's first you need to, like Herbert Spencer said, first you the survival of the fittest. If you are the fittest, then you survive. You have to have some fundamental things that you need. If you are from a rich family, then it's all right, but not everybody is rich. uh, so first you need is to अपना रोजी और अपना धंधा तलाश करें, उसमें अपना इनकम ले आए, उसके बाद फोटोग्राफी. देर आर एक्चुअली अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइंड हु इज अ प्लानिंग इंजीनियर इन अ गुड कंपनी. ही इज अ वेरी गुड फोटोग्राफर. Naveed Khan, his name. He even goes and shoots in weddings. And there is another junior, Talha Azhar. He's a civil engineer too, and he shoots photos in weddings and of celebrities. So this is what they love. But in the beginning, if they would have just started shooting, probably it would have been very difficult for them. So what they did was they started, because they learned a degree, the whole engineering at NUST. You know, NUST is a huge university. It has, like, you just live through NUST, do nothing, you just you become an engineer. Like you know the basics of each and everything. You know what? When I was back in NUST and we were using the tools of survey, the equipment, the sophisticated equipment. So there was a delegation of a university. A huge number of students came, and what they did was they just came in a row and visited the survey lab and just saw those equipments that we were using, and then they left. So at that time I realized that we are in an environment where we can have access to these sophisticated tools. So we are learning, and eventually it's going to help you. So my friends and I myself, we are working, earning, and eventually we will also explore our interests. I want to visit the world. I will visit when I will have my good bank account. It's filled like it has, seven figures. I will visit Turkey. I will visit amazing United States and Canada, and I will go for Hajj, of course. But everything needs finances. So in order to finance yourself, your degree is one of the best, I should say, instruments or the investment that you have done already. You have to cash it. If you don't want, it's still all right.
Right. Thank you so much for answering all of these questions. You perfectly answered every question, and all of it felt so comforting and is so relaxing now that we have somewhat idea of the things that we're going to face in our future after we graduate. One of my last questions is that do you have any closing remarks that you would like to say to the students that are listening in right now?
Most important remark is this: you must have very good friendship with your university friends because they are going to help you a lot. अगर किसी के साथ अच्छी दोस्ती नहीं है, वो भी आपको हेल्प करेगा, यकीन करें, क्योंकि ना यू आर गोना मिस योर लाइफ। और फ्यूचर में जब आप जाएंगे ना, किसी कंपनी में गए हैं, उसको आप बता देंगे मुझे ये भी आता है, वो भी आता है, और वो कहेगा ये करके दो, जब जॉब कर आने के बाद, तो उस टाइम यू कैन ओनली आइदर गो टू द इंटरनेट। वहां से हर दफा तो नहीं समझ आता, लेकिन आपने अपने दोस्त को मैसेज किया, यार मुझे एक वॉइस नोट भेजो, मुझे ये काम समझा दो, मैं मेहनत फिर करके एक हफ्ते में डिलीवर कर दूंगा। तो देयर योर फ्रेंडशिप एंड योर नेटवर्किंग स्किल्स कम्स। तो अपने बैचमेट से कम जो है ना, आपकी अच्छी दोस्तियां होनी चाहिए, भले दे आर मेल्स और फीमेल्स। सब बहन भाइयों की तरह, दोस्तों की तरह रहें। फ्यूचर में मिलना बहुत कम होता है, लिटरली। इट्स नॉट लाइक यू आर गोइंग टू, इवन अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ शायद आप नहीं मिल सकते, क्योंकि द फील्ड इज वास्ट, यू आर गोइंग एंड लुकिंग फॉर अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड। लेकिन इंटरनेट की वजह से आप एक दूसरे से पूछ सकते हो, हेल्प ले सकते हो। तो आप एक दूसरे के साथ दोस्ती अच्छी रखो और लिव द मोमेंट, और कदर करो कि यू आर टुगेदर, और कल को शायद मिलना बहुत कम होगा। डोंट बी लाइक एक छोटा सा ग्रुप बना लिया और हम दोस्त हैं और बस इकट्ठे हो गए, ओके, हाँ ये भी अच्छा है, बट ट्राई टू बी फ्रेंडली विथ एवरी सिंगल बडी, कि हर कोई आपका कल को काम आएगा। जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके जो चार दोस्त थे वही आपको सब कुछ सिखा देंगे। कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो एक ऐसी सॉफ्टवेयर पे माहिर हो चुके होते हैं, और फिर आपको सॉफ्टवेयर की जरूरत पड़ती है, और एंड यू हैव टू कॉल हिम or her, then what you do? But if you have good relations, if you already know each other, then they will be happy to actually help you, and they will even consider that an opportunity to meet you on a cup of coffee, and you can have a very good healthy discussion and grow together.
Very good. Sir, thank you so much for your time. I know that you were very busy and you especially had to take out this time for us. Thank you so much for coming here and for doing this interview. And Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz.